What if one of the oldest monuments on Earth was never just a statue? What if something lies beneath it? Something buried so deep, so ancient, that it could shatter everything we thought we knew about human history.
The Sphinx was thousands of years older than the Egyptologists thought.
The Great Sphinx of Giza has stood for thousands of years, silently watching as civilizations rise and fall. But there's a growing theory that it's not just stone and legend. Beneath its massive paws, under the desert sand, some say lies a mystery waiting to be uncovered.
Our primary purpose for conducting the seismic surveys in and around the Sphinx was to look for buried evidence for ancient civilizations.
Anomalies detected, chambers unconfirmed, stories silenced. Could the truth be hidden in plain sight? Stay with us till the end. You're about to hear what most documentaries won't dare show, because what lies beneath the Sphinx has been quietly kept from the public eye. The Great Sphinx of Giza is a marvel of ancient engineering. Carved directly from a limestone ridge on the Giza Plateau, it stretches 240 feet long and stands over 60 feet tall. Most Egyptologists agree it was built during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BC. But even that timeline is debated. Some researchers argue that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body suggest it could be thousands of years older, pointing to signs of water damage that would only make sense if it had endured heavy rainfall in a time when Egypt was lush, not desert.
I asked him what did he think that was responsible for that weathering. And he looked at it a moment and said, well, unquestionably, water. And when I stripped the masking tape off, he looked at it a minute, and he said, oh.
What makes the Sphinx even more intriguing isn't just its age, but its alignment. Facing due east, it greets the sunrise on the spring equinox. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe, like so many ancient monuments, it's pointing us towards something more, something encoded in the landscape itself. And that's before we even get to what's underneath it. While most visitors gaze at the Sphinx's face, few realize it's riddled with hidden shafts, some natural, some man-made, and all cloaked in mystery. In 1926, a trapdoor was cut into the Sphinx's head, Shaft A. French engineer Émile Barrès documented this vertical tunnel plunging downward, believed to follow a natural fissure, but it leads nowhere. Its true purpose remains unclear, sealed and off-limits today. Behind the head is Shaft C, a large crack in the bedrock filled with concrete by early restorers. Is it just structural damage or the sealed mouth of an ancient passage? Then there's Shaft D, discovered in the 1980s at the Sphinx's rump. This descending tunnel reaches near the water table but abruptly ends in modern debris, offering more questions than answers. And under the left paw, a curious square pit, dubbed the keyhole shaft. Egyptologists suggest it's the start of a tomb or exploratory shaft. Others suspect more. None of these tunnels have produced conclusive finds, but together they sketch the outline of something just beneath the surface, like the visible tips of a hidden structure below. Are they remnants of ancient construction, or attempts to reach something deeper, buried and forgotten? But if these tunnels raised eyebrows, what came next was far more shocking. In 1993, something extraordinary happened. Using ground-penetrating radar, geophysicist Thomas Dobecki and seismologist John Anthony West scanned the area around the Sphinx. What they found shocked the scientific community: large rectangular anomalies, deep under the front paws and around the Sphinx's body. These weren't minor cracks or natural fissures. They were symmetrical, deliberate, suggesting man-made chambers.
Now, the regular shape of this rectangular is inconsistent with naturally occurring cavities. So there's some suggestion this could be man-made.
The findings were peer-reviewed, published, and verified by multiple scans. Even the Egyptian Antiquities Organization acknowledged the data, though it quickly locked down access. No official excavation followed, no cameras allowed, no press. Were these sealed chambers, secret tombs, or simply empty voids created during the carving of the monument? Later scans confirmed other pockets around the monument, but again, no major excavation ever confirmed what lies inside. Official narratives point to natural cavities, yet the shapes tell a different story. Why not dig? Why not find out? For decades, the question has lingered. Are we protecting history or hiding it? When science meets mystery, legends aren't far behind. The most famous of these? The Hall of Records. Popularized by American mystic Edgar Cayce in the early 20th century, this alleged underground library was said to contain the lost knowledge of Atlantis. Blueprints, ancient texts, and technology preserved from a forgotten age. Cayce claimed it was hidden beneath the Sphinx's paw, sealed until humanity was ready. Sounds like fantasy, right? Yet years later, those radar anomalies under the exact spot Cayce predicted rekindled the legend. Coincidence or confirmation? Other theorists like Robert Bauval and Graham Hancock tie the Sphinx to Zep Tepi, the first time, an ancient epoch spoken of in Egyptian texts as an age when gods ruled on earth. They argue that the Sphinx aligns with the constellation Leo as it appeared over 10,000 years ago, suggesting it's far older than mainstream archaeology admits. Even more fringe theories claim extraterrestrial contact, hidden technology, or connections to submerged civilizations. Of course, there's no definitive proof for any of it, but that hasn't stopped the speculation. The secrecy surrounding the Sphinx, the restricted digs, the vanished excavation reports, it all fuels the fire. And in the space between myth and fact, a powerful question remains. If we did find something under there, would we even be told? If you're still with us, you're already part of the mystery, and it's about to go even deeper. Despite the myths and media frenzy, mainstream archaeology remains firm. There is no credible evidence of hidden chambers or ancient records beneath the Sphinx. Experts argue the radar anomalies could be natural cavities or remnants from previous restoration attempts. The Sphinx has endured thousands of years of erosion, repairs, and excavations, many undocumented or hastily done. French engineer Émile Barrès conducted major restoration in the 1920s and 30s, including clearing tunnels and sealing others. No tombs, no scrolls, just structural work to save a crumbling monument. Egyptologists emphasize that no inscriptions link the Sphinx to Atlantis, alien civilizations, or secret libraries. Its construction is attributed to Pharaoh Khafre, aligning with the nearby pyramid complex, backed by temple ruins and statue fragments. To them, the Sphinx is extraordinary, but explainable. And while some acknowledge the anomalies under the monument, they caution against leaping to conclusions without physical evidence. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, and so far, that proof hasn't surfaced. But here's the thing. Even the experts agree, there's still more sand than answers. Let's step into the unknown. This next part? It's speculation, fueled by data, myth, and curiosity. But sometimes, wondering is how discovery begins. So, what if those voids under the Sphinx aren't empty? What if, sealed in stone for thousands of years, there lies a chamber, a time capsule of unimaginable significance? Imagine unearthing ancient scrolls that predate the pyramids by millennia, maps of a world lost to time, Atlantis, Mu, or something unnamed, or relics, tools, machines, or artifacts, showing that ancient civilizations knew far more than we give them credit for. Some speculate the Sphinx is more than a monument. It's a marker, a guardian, the literal gatekeeper to a buried legacy meant for a future generation, one that might finally be ready. What would this mean for our understanding of history? It would reshape everything from the origins of writing, architecture, and astronomy to the story of civilization itself. It would mean our history books aren't wrong, just incomplete. And maybe, just maybe, that chamber under the Sphinx, it's not just hiding the past. It's waiting for the future. Let's go there. Really go there. What if a secret chamber lies beneath the Great Sphinx of Giza, sealed not by accident, but by design, hidden in a time capsule of stone, waiting? Imagine archaeologists finally get clearance. A quiet dig, cameras rolling, dust thick in the air. Then, metal meets stone. A hollow sound. A door. Not just a tomb, but a chamber built with intention. Walls covered in symbols that don't match any known script. A central pedestal, holding a stone tablet glowing faintly in the torchlight. This is no ordinary room. It's a vault. Inside, wrapped in dust and silence, scrolls untouched for 10,000 years. One map reveals a coastline. That doesn't exist on any modern globe. Schematics etched in metal, technologies beyond what ancient Egypt should have known. A globe showing a planet with different oceans. Suddenly, the story of humanity fractures. Mainstream science scrambles. Theories once dismissed as myth, Atlantis, Zep Tepi, pre-Diluvian civilizations, demand re-examination. Universities rewrite textbooks, governments step in. Debates rage on every screen, every feed, every classroom. Was this a message from a forgotten age? A warning? A legacy? And then comes the real question: should we have opened it? Because legends speak not just of knowledge, but of consequences. Some say the chamber holds power we're not meant to access. Others believe it's a trigger, marking a point in history when humanity crosses into a new age. A spiritual awakening? A technological leap? Or a reckoning we're not ready for? One thing's certain: once it's opened, the world won't go back to the way it was. The Great Sphinx may not be a relic, it might be a key, and behind that door, our true origin, or our greatest challenge, could be waiting. The Great Sphinx has stood for thousands of years, silent but never still in our imagination. We know there are tunnels, we know there are voids, and we know the sands of Egypt still hide untold secrets. Whether it guards an ancient library, a lost technology, or simply a deeper truth, one thing is certain: the mystery isn't solved. It's only just begun. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into hidden histories, and tell us in the comments, what do you think is buried under the Sphinx? A vault? A prophecy? Or something beyond our understanding? Stay curious and descend with us into the unknown.